Alright, good afternoon everyone. My name is Willem Valse and welcome to our online webinar, Roadmap to Cloud-Based Accounting. So first of all, just a quick technology thing. Whilst we're streaming live through YouTube, and if your screen is looking a little bit fuzzy, you're welcome to, in the right hand corner of the little window you're seeing our stream from, there's a little white gear that you can click on. We recommend if you have a 4 megabit internet line, that 720p would be a good resolution to stream at, or anything less than 4 megabits, you're welcome to select the 480 or the 360p, and that will give you a good quality presentation. You will clearly be able to see what's on the screen. All right. So for today, we welcome everyone, some of our existing clients, and a lot of new names that we haven't met before. And welcome to this webinar. Today we'll be discussing a roadmap to cloud-based accounting. Now this webinar is first of all directed at accountants. How do you, as an accountant, base your current business model and grow it for this cloud thing that we're talking about? How do we change our business models to fit in with the cloud and set our business up for success? We're here to give advice, we're here to share our knowledge as consultants in the industry, and just to have a good chat today. I'm also joined by my colleague, Ferdy van Skalkwyk, who will now be introducing himself.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'll be conducting the bulk of the presentation for today. Let's get started in this presentation. So, as Willem said, today's webinar is around getting started with cloud-based accounting, and it's aimed at those rendering accounting and bookkeeping services to the SME market primarily. That said, a lot of the solution and consulting that we do applies if you're a one-person bookkeeping or accountant, or if you're a larger organization with a staff complement of over 100. If you're servicing SMEs, this is typically what the software is most effective at. But there will be cases where it will overflow into the very large and the very small. During the course of the presentation, on your right-hand side, you will see a little box where you can type in questions. We're going to have a 30-minute questions and answer session at the end. So as we go through and questions come up, feel free to put them in the box on the right-hand side, and we'll collate them at the end and try and answer as many of them as we can. So, a little bit about us, about IPMG IT and Business Solutions. We're an independent firm of consultants focusing on providing business solutions to our SME and our corporate clients. Our focus areas are information systems, be it CRM, workflow, process or database, as well as ICT infrastructure assessments and audits. And thirdly, we offer managed implementation solutions. So clients bring a business problem to us, we find a solution, and we help them implement it with the service providers and the vendors. Ultimately, our focus is about empowering clients to make informed decisions, and that's our mantra in our consulting engagements. So a little bit about our team. Gary Geddes, the Group CEO, is all about managing our strategic relationships, including our client strategic relationships. So Gary's background in organizational risk management also allows him to identify and manage risks and coordinate activities to mitigate them. Willem Valse, who you've now already met, he leads our business consulting team, primarily operates directly with business owners and their operational staff. Willem works in the trenches, deals with the real business issues with clients' encounters, and finds solutions for them. Willem's focus is more about being practical, making sure that the solutions implemented work correctly, and helps manage them effectively in the long term. Myself, I'm primarily the technical capacity within the group. My role is that of a Chief Information Officer. I bridge the gap between business and the technicians. Large organizations have full-time Chief Information Officers, and I offer that service to SMEs as an outsourced service. So my focus is healthy information systems, assisting clients to design, implement and maintain their existing solutions with their existing service providers. So let's talk a little bit about what we're talking about today, and that is small business accounting software. Now, if we look at most of the software that's been dominating the marketplace over the last few decades, there's certain commonalities and issues with them, and which is probably why you guys are here, is want to know more about what's coming and what is already available. So looking at where we are right now, most of the software, accounting software that we use, the Pastels, the Quickbooks, the MyObs, they were designed in the 1990s. They were designed before the internet became a prevalent business tool. And thus it shows. It's not designed for communication, so interacting with clients is cumbersome. They're very high in IT maintenance. They were designed for corporate environments where there's a full-time IT staff and everything is on one network. So they're not designed for multi-branch deployments, and they require regular attention with updates, converting formats, backups, etc. It's a very intensive technical product. And also we see now in the last few years the lack of investment in those products. New functionality is poorly implemented as they try and mate the old and the new technology platforms. The reliability has become worse over the last few years, and the user interface simply doesn't have the functionality that most of the modern tool sets have. So why do we all still use it? We use it because we know it. So we're wondering, is there a little bit of Stockholm syndrome in there maybe? First, looking at a jargon buster, what is the cloud? It's a very often miscoined term from a technical perspective, but we need to meet people where they're at in their understanding. So I've got a little explanation here on to clear up exactly what the cloud actually means and how to distinguish when it is being misused. So as a basic definition, the cloud means storing and accessing data and applications over the internet instead of your local computer's hard drive. So the cloud is just a metaphor for an application that lives on the internet. So how is that different from web-based app or hosted applications that you may already be familiar with? The distinction is with who operates the servers that run the application. So how we would define the cloud more specifically is when it's a third-party cloud. In other words, the infrastructure is provided by the same people who provide the software. So without involving third parties directly. So your relationship is only with one service provider. So if you're still a bit confused on that, think about where the data is. If the data is with the first party, the people who get the software from, it's a cloud-based service. If the data is with a third party, in other words, you bought the software from someone, but the server is with someone else, then it is a web-hosted application. If the data is with you, then it's on your own server, in your own environment. That's called an on-premise deployment or an in-house deployment. So how does this equate to a real-world scenario? Let's say, for example, I want to go racing. I want to go on a Saturday, I want to go on a racetrack. There's a few options available. The on-premise or in-house solution is to buy a car and then to hire a mechanic to maintain it, like you would hire an IT professional to maintain the server and the software. The hosted option is I don't want to buy my own racing car, I want to rent one, and I still need to hire a mechanic to set it up and maintain it for me. Now the cloud is like renting a race team. You rock up on a Saturday, everything is prepared, you jump in and you go. That is what is characterized by a cloud-based solution. So having a look at how does cloud software compare to your normal software and what are the strengths and weaknesses of each. So first, if you follow my mouse cursor, on the left-hand side here with the orange, we've got the traditional software. The traditional software has got on the workstation that the user works on, there's a user interface, there's calculations being done there, and there's data being stored on there. On the server side, you've got the server-side calculations that gets done, and you've got the data storage. So what happens when a user opens a file is the workstation contacts the server, transfers the data files over to the local workstation, and then from there it works on the local data file And then during the course of the user working, transactions would be fed back to the server. Now, this is very hardware intensive. There's a high capital cost because we need fairly powerful workstations in the greater scheme of things. And it becomes a pain to manage because if you need to update the software, you need to update every workstation. There's also issues with bandwidth and distance being a problem. So this couldn't work with your workstations connecting to a server that is located in a different city or using an internet connection. They typically need to be in the same building. Now, if we look at the first-party cloud solutions that are built for the cloud, all the heavy lifting happens on the server itself. All the data storage happens on the server. You'll notice that on the user side, there's only a web browser, and all it contains is the user interface. There's no client data on that browser, there's no calculations being done on that browser. The only thing that communication that occurs between these two systems is the transactional information between the user interface and the server side things. Now, the major advantage of the cloud software is you only need to run a browser, so you don't need expensive equipment for your users to use. And it also supports multiple platforms. So if you wanted to run your accounting system on a Mac without having to load Windows on top of it, you can do that. If it's an Android tablet, you can do that. If it's an iPad, mobile phone, you can use it on a large variety of devices. It's less sensitive to distance, even though internet connection quality is still a factor, but it uses a lot less bandwidth than other technologies that we use to have people work remotely. All the heavy lifting and complicated things are done on the server. Now, with a first-party cloud solution, this isn't your problem. You don't have a server. That is all with the software vendor that you're getting the software from. So it is in an orders of magnitude simpler system for you guys to manage yourself, because there's very little to manage. You just need to make sure that your users have a browser and they've got an internet connection. So let's talk about clients' perceptions of accounting systems, the current crop of accounting systems. And this is based on feedback that we've been getting from the clients that we interact with. And because we do work outside of the accounting vertical, we do manufacturing, non-profits, financial services. We've got quite a wide swath of clients that we work with, and this is the information that we've been getting from them. Now, first, addressing their perceptions of accounting systems. They typically mention things like outdated information. It's tedious to keep it up to date. It's expensive to maintain. They also have that same problem with the software being complex to maintain. It's unreliable, and the lack of transparency. The way that the software works is the people that need to work on the system are not always in a position to actually access that information. So what do they do to compensate for those deficiencies? Most of the business owners and managers are starting to build massive spreadsheets, quite often built on bank statement information because they're desperate for that business intelligence information that they're not getting out of their bookkeeping and accounting system. So they also need to employ more people for administrative purposes to do the tedious work. And then also some of them do their data management in their CRM system. It's not a very good place to do data management, but it is still better than the system that was designed to do data management, being the accounting system. Now, there's a danger here with the negative perception of the accounting system in that the accountant can be associated with all that negativity. So there's a danger here that the accountant and the bookkeepers would be perceived as a grudge purchase. Now, we hope that you all here today are looking at the new things because you do not want to be part of that association. So when we introduced the cloud-based accounting systems to our clients, what was their reaction? Mostly it's been, this is great, can IPMG implement this for us? And why am I not hearing about this from my accountant? So obviously there's a genuine opportunity for you guys as accountants and bookkeepers to engage with your clients and to push the innovation instead of waiting for them to ask for it. So let's have a look at the online or the cloud accounting systems that are available in South Africa right now. We've taken a small selection. There are literally dozens of them. It's a very competitive market, and there's a lot of development that's happening in it very quickly. So we took 3 of them, but they are far from an exhaustive list. First, starting with Sage 1. This is the one from the company that you guys are probably most familiar with, being the current owners of Pastel. And they've got a very compelling entry-level product, which at a very low cost. Now, after Sage 1 bought Pastel bought Softline, they had a look at the Pastel My Business Online, which was the first attempt for Pastel to go cloud. And they decided that they are going to kill off the product and import their product that they built in the UK. And they are, and that is currently the Sage 1 product that's available in South Africa. It's a little immature in places because they're playing a little bit of catch up with the other providers in the market, but it is a very compelling offering if you're looking for the basics, and it's very difficult to beat its price point. Another thing to note is that the accountant in all these cases gets access to the books for free. So the accountant does not pay for the accounting software that the client uses, or you don't need to pay for your own copy of it. The next one, from Intuit, Quickbooks. There's a lot of people that are very pro Quickbooks and a lot of people that are very anti Quickbooks for various reasons. Right now, the Quickbooks Online is one of the leading products in the market. It was designed in the USA. It's a far cry from the QuickBooks that you install on a desktop. It's a completely from a ground up new solution that they designed using the same brand. So they've got the largest market share in the United States market, and around about 50% of their clients are currently cloud-based. They're lacking a footprint and a presence in South Africa for now, but they are indicating that they are aggressively tackling the international market. So even though that might not be suitable for you right now, there's a good chance a year from now they will be on the ground and would be a good option to look at. The last one is Xero. Now, you might not have heard the name before, or you might have noticed that of recent late they've been marketing quite aggressively in South Africa. It was originally designed in Australia and New Zealand, and they won the award, the #1 ranking award for the innovative growth company for Forbes magazine, having achieved 112% year-on-year growth for the last 5 years. And they've really been the innovator in this market, and a lot of their work has jump-started this cloud accounting process. You can see that they've got excellent online training materials, both for the accountants and for clients. But the main advantage they've got over the other competitors is their integration with over 500 third-party applications. So if you need advanced payroll, time and attendance, or CRM, manufacturing, etc., if you need more than the software provides, they can connect up to those other systems, so to give the client that total solution that they need. So begs the question, which one's the right one? There's no one correct answer. In all likelihood, you as accountants will need to be able to support 2 or more of these solutions going forward, because not every solution will be right for every client. Sage 1 is a very good entry-level, low-cost product. Xero is a much more extendable and growing product. QuickBooks might be that happy medium between the two. We don't know yet. It's a very rapidly developing market. One thing to note here is the pricing that I've shown on these is the current pricing without discounts. These guys at the moment are running very aggressive discounts because they are seeing that the market attention is starting to pick up. So chances are you can get the software for cheaper than it is listed on their as standard pricing on their website. Next, let's look at what are the benefits for the cloud accounting systems for the client. Number 1 is the ease of use. The interface has got much more modern design elements, requires much less training. You can get your people up to speed with it much quicker. There's also the more modern technologies within it, with like the real-time banking feeds, no more importing of bank statements. As transactions occur in your internet banking, they get shown in the accounting system in real time, so that you can reconcile them as you do normal business. There's also the ability to do automatic statements with client portals, where clients can go and pull their own statements, get copies of old invoices, make payments to you if you connect it to a payment portal. So it really takes a lot of the tedium work out of the clients away from the client. The next one is real-time information. There's one set of books. There's no pastel backup file that needs to travel between the accountant and the bookkeeper, or between the salespeople and then the bookkeepers, etc., etc. Everybody works on the same set of live information. And the financial intelligence that you can get out of that real-time information really helps business owners and managers to make accurate decisions and make informed decisions on their business, on when to expand, when to buy more equipment, when to to employ more people. The next one is collaboration. Most of the software is so inexpensive to add users onto the system that you can give access to everybody who could benefit from it. So your sales teams will be able to invoice a client on the spot when they're in front of the client from a mobile device, be it a phone, be it a tablet, or a PC. And that information will immediately be available to the bookkeepers and the administrative staff in the back office. The client portal also helps them collaborate with their client, making sure the client knows that they owe them money, and setting up all the automated communication around that. The clients also gain a lot of control that they do not traditionally have. There's been this skill barrier, between the administration of the traditional accounting systems and how easy and relatable the new control panels are. So it's very easy for them to take control of their own financial system, even if it's standing on the golf course, receiving a notification that one of your clients has paid a deposit on an invoice. The last one is reliability. The cloud-based accounting systems are maintained by professionals. They are trained and equipped to handle just that one solution that they offer, so they are going to be deliver a much more reliable experience compared to a general practitioner that needs to maintain a server in your own environment. The only requirement for it is that you need internet connectivity. And I'm sure most of you have noticed the options for internet connectivity in South Africa have dramatically improved over the last few months. And it is now very affordable to have two internet connections on a redundant link, so that if the one goes down, the other one comes up automatically and your users continue working. So what are the benefits for the accountant with the cloud-based software? There's a few strategic benefits. Number one, your clients are looking at it, so you should be too. It's also important to avoid those negative perceptions with the traditional accounting software, and to be the innovator that you guys are seeking to be. There's also an opportunity here with a lot of the new capabilities to offer business advisory services to your clients, to be that trusted advisor with real-time access to what's happening with your clients. Now, the one thing that we've noticed in getting the feedback from our clients is clients are not afraid to bypass their accountant for the right solution. And obviously that is something that we try to avoid, because those relationships we understand is important, regardless of the client's urgent or despite the valid requirement from the client to have the right systems in place for their business. From a financial point of view, all of these cloud providers offer incentive programs for accountants and bookkeepers, that you earn recurring revenue from every client that is linked to your account. So you would buy the software at a discounted rate from the cloud provider, and you would on-sell it to your client, either at the full retail price, should you choose to do so, or to offer your clients a discount based on maybe an incentive program. Now, Once you have a client paying you on a monthly basis on a debit order, it's a gateway for other recurring revenue services. So business consulting, business intelligence reporting, you guys will know where you can add the most value to your clients, and you can build a service, a recurring monthly service over that. To have somebody log into your client's system and just to have a look at all the transactions for the last 7 days, and to pick up the phone and saying, listen, we picked up this inconsistency, we suggest you do it this and this way, rather than finding out that the errors occurred months or even a year later after they've actually been entered. Then it's much more difficult to correct them. You also have much lower capital expenditure, especially on IT equipment, because internet connections are an operational expense, and you can save quite a bit of money in lowering the hardware specifications of the user of the workstations that you buy. From a governance perspective, the cloud-based systems are always going to be more secure than anything that you can build in-house. Again, it's about they're built for a single purpose, they're maintained by professionals, versus a general practitioner trying to get some very outdated software working properly and set up securely. Again, most of those systems were built before the internet, so they're not designed with the security mechanisms in place for that internet landscape. You can also limit access for your employees and your staff to client data. On those dashboards, you can manage all your staff and indicate and give them permissions on what they're allowed to do on which clients' books and what they're allowed to do on those clients' books. So it's also much easier to comply to various legislations like POPI's requirements for limitation of access to information and limitation of purpose of usage of information. And lastly, on the efficiency side, it's always going to be more reliable than in-house, provided you can get the internet connectivity sorted. And the real-time financial intelligence that you get from your client allows you to intervene quicker, to intervene more effectively with your clients. And allowing you to fix problems when they occur or shortly after they occur, rather than trying to address them after they've been doing it the wrong way for a year. It's also easier to manage multi-branch workforces. People in Cape Town and Joburg can work on the same client's books at the same time. So if a client has a big project and you require a lot of people to work on it, you can reach into your other branches and get the people to work together without the file having to move between the branches. And also you get the improved collaboration between your staff members. They can work together on the same clients at the same time, and also with the client. And getting, there's no, struggling to get information from the client. If a client needs to add a source document relating to a transaction, they can open that transaction on the cloud accounting system and upload the file straight away, without having to scan it and emailing it. Or the shoebox with slips is still a very real thing for many people. So that is something that you can avoid. Something to note as well for the shoebox thing is most of the clients will have a smartphone. All of these cloud accounting systems have mobile apps with a built-in scanning function that you can take a picture of the slip and upload it directly to the transaction in the accounting system. So there's a lot of efficiencies that will make you more efficient and to free up time to spend on offering higher value services to the clients. So okay, hopefully we've convinced you that it's time to start looking at cloud accounting seriously and to start planning to convert clients over to it. Now, the warning here is failed projects are easy. It is very easy for one or two relatively small things to completely derail a project to adopt a new technology. So how do we recommend you go about it? How do you get started? First off, we'd recommend that you have a pilot phase where you would look at those new services that you've been struggling to get to your clients and build those services around the capabilities of the new cloud-based accounting system. Secondly, find your early adopter clients. You know your clients, you will know who they are, the ones that are probably already asking you about cloud accounting, and get them on board, as the early adopters to work out the details of the new system. The other thing that we also advocate is eat your own dog food. Take your own company and start using cloud accounting for your own day-to-day operations. That is the best way to get to grips with it. As a second phase, you would then refine based on your experiences, the proactive services that you would be able to offer, the new engagement documents and methodologies, and the new workflows of changing the way that you interact with the client, where it's not just a month end and year end and tax and deadline cycle, but there's a continuous workflow to interact with the client during the course of the year. And the third phase is then to start the implementation to convert your existing clients to the new way of working. So how we suggest you go about that is, first off, start with a period of voluntary conversion, where all your new clients that come on board would automatically go onto the new system. And again, marketing to your existing clients to convert to the new system, advocating the benefits of doing that. Based on our experience in talking about cloud accounting systems to our non-accounting client base, that shouldn't be a difficult thing at all. Then at a later stage, you would start to disincentivize the old business models. Now there's various mechanisms to do that, but pricing is ultimately what may be the only thing that will move certain clients. And then finally, there's a compulsory conversion period or point where all clients will get moved onto the new system. This might be 2 years from now, it might be 5 years from now, or you might decide for those particular clients, you may decide to continue running them at the old business model at much lower profitability levels, should that be your choice. Now, the important thing I want to emphasize here is do not miss the opportunity to add your new proactive services during the conversion process for clients. Change is difficult for people, but if you continually add value as the changes are occurring, they'll latch onto the new value and not the minor things and the minor inconvenience of learning something new. So how can IPMG help? Hopefully we've given you a baseline for how to proceed, how to approach this new technology, and we can help should you need further assistance. First off, Hallam leads our managed implementation team that can engage with you on various levels. If you're only seeking to understand your current position through a business assessment, or you need an ICT assessment regarding your existing legacy systems, we can help you understand your current state and come up with recommendations on how to correct the issues and how to move forward. Also, something that we can assist with is documenting your roadmap to take you from your current state into your desired future state. And we do that via business process mappings and implementations plans, where we incorporate your business model, your technology requirements, and your business requirements, and we craft you a migration path for you to follow. And should you need it, we can help you implement that implementation document, dealing with multiple vendors, providing ongoing support, and that continuous improvement to get you to that desired future state where all your information systems are healthy. Secondly, we can help with the ICT strategy side of your business. Quite often you might be encountering tough technology decisions that you really don't have the knowledge to make an informed decision on, and that is something where we can help. It's that chief information officer to bridge that gap between the technology people that speak technology and the business people that speak business, and somebody needs to connect the dots between those two, and that's where we can help. So if you're going to be going through a large expenditure and you need somebody to just spend an hour and double check that it is the right decision for your business, or you're struggling with a problem for the last few months and your IT people haven't been able to resolve it, or the vendors haven't been able to resolve it, and you need somebody to quickly get to the source of the problem and to coordinate its resolution with those service providers. Something that you'll find where we pride ourselves is with our ability to document solutions. We obsess about helping clients make informed decisions. So whenever you deal with us and you have an interaction with us, you will see extensive documentation. Not just a quick summary over in an email. You'll get a full document documenting things like the buying motive, your business process maps, detailed cost breakdowns, as well as articulations of what things will look like before, during, and after the implementation. So that's the end of the formal part of the presentation. Just a few other things to take on. We're going to be having a few more of these webinars on various topics related to accountants. So we will communicate those via email in advance. Alternatively, at the bottom left of your screen, there's a subscribe button that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and as we load new content, in some cases we might upload pre-recorded advice videos, in which case you would get a notification of that should you subscribe. Second thing is, please feel free to suggest future topics in the comment section below. And if you want to ask any questions now, or you want us to explain something in more detail, on the right hand side there is a box where you can type questions, and we'll be around for the next 30 minutes for a Q&A session, where we will first just go and look at the questions that have already been submitted, and then we'll come back after a short break and we can talk over those questions. Should you want to contact us for a more detailed information regarding our implementation or ICT services, please feel free to email us at support@IPMG should you require any more information or additional assistance. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to just switch the microphone. We're going to take a 2-minute break just to go through the questions and then to answer any questions that may come up.